Hi, this is Jennifer Matos with the Noah Webster House and West Hartford Historical Society. I'm bringing you the 37th episode of our Armchair tour of West Hartford history. I'm out on Westland Avenue, just outside of West Hartford Center, and I'm standing in front of a building known as the Edward W. Morley House. The Morley House is one of two buildings in West Hartford that are called National Historic Landmarks. You may be wondering what the other building is. It's none other than the Noah Webster House. To be considered a National Historic Landmark, you actually have to prove that your building is nationally significant with meaning for all Americans. So while there are 32 buildings in West Hartford that are on the National Register of Historic Places, there are only two buildings that are considered National Historic Landmarks. What's interesting about this house that you see behind me is that it is a pretty common looking house from this period. It was built in 1906, and in the application to become a National Historic Landmark, it's noted that the house itself is typical of the period with no architectural importance. I would argue that. I think this house is a very attractive and beautiful house, and certainly a very spacious house for its period. But I think what it shows you is that this house was not nominated because of its architectural significance. Instead, it was nominated because it is so associated closely with a national significant figure in American history, and that person was Edward W. Morley. So let me tell you a little bit about him. First of all, he is really known for two things. He's known for a collaboration with another scientist named Albert Michelson. They had something called the Michelson-Morley Experiment. And then he also is known for his work on the atomic weights of hydrogen and oxygen. How did he get here? Edward W. Morley actually was born in 1838 in Newark, New Jersey, but he grew up here. So in the 1950 U.S. Census, he's listed living the eldest of four children with his father, Reverend Sardis Brewster Morley, and his mother, Anna Clarissa Treat Morley. And his father is listed as a farmer. We know that Morley had poor health that did not allow him to attend the schools in West Hartford, so he was actually homeschooled by his father and mother. In 1857, he went to Williams College in Williamstown, Massachusetts, which is where his father had graduated. And he received a bachelor's degree in 1860 and a master's degree in 1863, mainly studying science. Then he kind of changed his course a little bit. At the encouragement of his parents, Morley went to study theology at the Andover Theological Seminary. In 1868, after he finished that, he married a woman named Isabella Birdsall, and the couple moved to Ohio, where Morley took a position as a pastor at a small country parish. A year later, he was offered a teaching position at Western Reserve College, teaching chemistry, which he accepted, and that college was later named Case Western Reserve University that we know of today. So it was at Western Reserve where Morley made a name for himself. As we mentioned, he participated in the Michelson-Morley Experiment, which proved that light was not carried by any sort of luminiferous ether. Then on his own, Morley is best known for his calculation of the atomic weights of hydrogen and oxygen and for determining the composition of water from these elements. He was a very prominent scientist in his day. In 1895, he served as president of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and in 1899, the president of the American Chemical Society. When Morley retired in 1905, he came back to West Hartford, and he built this house in 1906. He actually continued his work in a laboratory that he created in his garage, and we'll post a picture of that. It's still standing. He was awarded multiple times for his work, including 1907, the Davy Medal by the Royal Society of London, and also the Elliott Crescent Medal in 1912 for important contributions to the science of chemistry, awarded by the Franklin Institute of Pennsylvania. At this point, while he's retired, I was informed by the current homeowner who has lived in this house for about 35 years and just taken excellent care of it, that Morley was actually quite a wealthy man because of an invention he made. At the time, kerosene was shipped in containers, and there was a property in the kerosene that actually destroyed the seal of the container and caused the kerosene to leak. So Morley actually figured out an additive to be added to kerosene in order to prevent that seal breaking from it, and he made a lot of money from it, primarily because he got paid in stock, and that stock really increased in value over time. So the Morleys live here for the rest of their lives. They're members of the First Congregational Church, and I understand that at the very least one of Morley's daughters lived here in town as well. Isabella Morley passed away in 1922, and Edward Morley passed away the following year, and they're buried in Springfield, Massachusetts, which is where Edward Morley's family was originally from. In 1930, the town of West Hartford renamed a school that had been built in 1926 called the Fern Street School, and they named it in Morley's honor. Of course, today we know that as Edward W. Morley School. Morley's house was named a National Historic Landmark in 1975. He also has a scientific laboratory named after him at Williams College. And perhaps most interesting of all, a lunar crater on the near side of the moon is also named Morley after this notable West Hartford resident. Hope you learned something new this week, and I'll see you on our next episode of the Armchair Tour of West Hartford History. Bye.